What's going on, guys? So I am out here at the storage facility with a buddy of mine who has this absolutely gorgeous, I think it's a 2019 Ram 1500. He put a leveling kit on the front of it. It's actually a two-wheel drive truck, but check it out. This thing looks absolutely fantastic with a leveling kit. How big was the leveling kit? A 2-inch leveling kit up front, which really leveled the truck out well. And you could probably see, if he hadn't put that, how far up the back was sitting. And right after he left getting that put on, put all new BF Goodwrench tires on as well, which absolutely make the truck look great. I told him he needs to put a 4x4 sticker on the side of it. You get it? 4x4. Anyways, but this is a really, really cool truck. Another upgrade that he had done to it is one that is really cool, and I'm gonna try to squeeze under here so I can show you. Probably see them right there, right where the old bump stop is. Those are Sumo Springs. So those Sumo Springs are essentially like a polyurethane foam. Oh, there's a better view of it right there. And they replaced the factory bump stops because when he would hitch up to his relatively light travel trailer, it would cause the back of the truck to slouch. Let's take a look at the weight. So his new trailer weighs 4,805 pounds. Very, very light travel trailer. It's a Surveyor Legend. Actually, I think you guys saw a video on this because I did a full video on this, putting the rack on the front, putting the Anderson hitch on it and everything. And it caused a half-ton truck with, I think, about 1,800 pounds worth of payload. Let's take a look at that. His truck has 1,646 pounds worth of payload capacity. It caused this truck to squat. Was it a pretty bad squat?
Yes.
It was pretty significant is what he's saying. So we're about to hitch up the trailer to it to see how the Sumo Springs actually impact the height of the back once the trailer's connected to it. And he should only have about, I'm going to guesstimate, probably about 500 pounds worth of tongue weight on the back of this truck. So 500 pounds caused the back to squat pretty significantly. We're going to see what happens now with the Sumo Springs. Tongue jack is off. We're going to step back here real quick. That's pretty level, actually. Is it different than it looked before when you didn't have them? He's making a facial expression. Yeah, it's significantly different. So let's take a closer look at the Sumo Springs so you can see what they're doing, because they are probably compressing. Yep, so there's the Sumo Spring right there, and you can see that it has compressed, and that is helping support the additional weight. Now, Sumo Springs are actually a pretty cool product because it's considered to be a passive suspension enhancement system. So you're not dealing with airbags, you're not dealing with anything that can really fail. I suppose one could somehow disintegrate, but that's probably very unlikely. These things last forever. I believe they even carry a lifetime warranty on them, and they're just designed to act as a softened version of an extended bump stop. So as you put weight on it, it presses down, compresses, and squishes, and you really can't tell a difference when you're not loaded, because that's what a lot of people are going to want to know. They're going to want to see, well, if I don't have a trailer on the back, how does it feel? The nice thing about how Sumo Springs designs their bushings is that they are very progressive. So when you are unloaded, the truck still feels just like it would without them, which is really cool. And that's one of the claim to fame that they have on that product. Definitely a cool product. He actually ordered it from eTrailer, so that was really cool, and he's a supporter of my channel, so he tries to support it in that fashion. Okay, so my buddy's going to take his Legend out tomorrow, and he discovered a few things. It was in storage for how long? How many months? 3 months, and when he came out to it, the toilet was full of water, almost to the very top, and he was wondering what happened. And what I informed him is something that you should pay attention to if you're going to be RVing. Once you get back with it, there's very likely pressure in your line. And if that pressure builds up, even as you travel, it can cause water to come out of areas that might not be perfectly closed tight, or they might not be sealed, or even in areas that could potentially rupture. So underneath every travel trailer, or just about every travel trailer fifth wheel, you're going to have these two little pipes coming out, and these are your low point drains for both your hot and cold water, and they're going to have ball valves on the end. We already opened them out, and I'd probably say at least a gallon or more of water shot out of the fresh water, and out of the hot water maybe half a gallon. So, and there was pressure behind it. So that pressure built up inside, and the easy access point for it to escape was the toilet. So that's essentially why it filled his toilet up. So whenever you get back, if your RV is going to be sitting, or even if you're just going to keep it in storage, you want to be sure to open up this area right here, because this can just prevent that pressure from possibly damaging the pipes inside of your RV or finding a weak point for it to drain, in his case, the toilet. Now that they are both drained, we're going to close it up. That's always something. Let me show you another area. So coming over here, this is the back of your water heater. Your water heater is always going to have this little relief valve here. And when you're done camping, of course, you don't want to do it when the water's still hot. You want to wait until the water cools down. There's a couple things you can do. First, down here, you can unscrew this and it will drain water out. You might have an aneroid rod inside of here that is used to help prevent corrosion buildup on some units. Right here, this is what you want to open up and release the pressure that's built up inside of your hot water heater, as well as potentially drain any excessive water or pressure out as well. It's okay if any of this gets wet, but that's something you want to do whenever you get back to your storage facility, your house, whatever you're at after you've done camping, because you definitely don't want too much pressure built up in there over a long period of time, and you just don't want water just sitting in there if it doesn't have to sit in there for an extended period of time. Underneath here, it says Freshwater Drain. So he saw this down here and he realized that there was no cap at the end of it. That is actually a freshwater overflow. So if you accidentally overflow your freshwater tank, you'll start to see water drip out from there. If you have a problem with your plumbing system and water is flowing into your freshwater when it's not supposed to, it'll fill up, and this is where you'll start to see it drip out. So if you see water coming from this, that generally means that your freshwater tank is full and it's trying to let some of it out so it doesn't flood into the actual RV. But these are just a few steps that you can take just to make sure that your RV is a little bit more ready for storage wherever it's going to be. If you live in a colder climate where you're worried about freezing, then you definitely want to get RV antifreeze to flood your system with, essentially, and that's going to prevent your pipes from seizing up or freezing or fracturing from cold weather or from the water turning into ice and expanding. Other things you want to check, you absolutely want to check your tire pressure. So if you see the green valve stem cap here, that means that your tires have been nitrogen filled from the factory. Doesn't really matter. Eventually, you'll have to put air into your tire and that'll come out unless you find a place that adds nitrogen. You want to check your hangers right here as well. You want to make sure that this bolt doesn't look like it's moved down. If that does, then it means that it's worn away at this actual hanger and it's starting to grind at the metal. I would recommend as an upgrade to replace these with greasable bolts. That way you just prolong the life of the hanger and the bolt assembly and the leaf spring, and you don't have to worry as much about failure here, but this is always something you want to inspect. On the back side, you'll see that there is a hanger. These are 1/4 inch thick hangers. A good upgrade would be to go to the heavy duty hangers with the greasable wet bolts as well, and that's just a part that is going to help, again, prolong the suspension as well as give you a serviceable part. Okay, so one final thing that we did here was we set up his Anderson weight distribution hitch properly. With the back of his truck sitting a little bit higher, he had to readjust how the actual hitch assembly was inserted into the coupler to give him a little bit more height. Once that was done, we had to readjust the chains. So essentially what we did was we hitched the truck up to the trailer. We raised the assembly up about 2 inches higher than how high the trailer needs to be with the truck. We tightened the chains up and then we lowered it back down. The whole premise behind weight distribution with the Anderson hitch is different than that of like an equalizer, Fastway, any of the other types of weight distribution hitches you see that use metal trunnion arms that come out and put pressure down on L brackets. Those hitches provide weight distribution by pressing down and creating kind of an arch effect in the center. The way the Anderson hitch works is there's no way to preload it like that. So what you have to do is you have to lift the assembly up, tighten the chain, and that essentially is your preloading. You're preloading the trailer and the truck in kind of an arched position. Then as you lower it, it puts pressure on the chains, which then gives you your weight distribution as well as your sway control. But now that we're set up properly, everything is configured right, his truck and trailer are level. He's got his Sumo Springs added, which is helping him, of course, level his ride even more. He's ready to hit the road. Aside from that, of course, you want to go through your normal checks, your lights, your brakes, make sure that your safety connections are in place. Right now, we just came out to configure this, so that's why he doesn't have his breakaway connected. He's not actually towing it today, it'll be tomorrow. But you definitely want to make sure all of it is properly set up. in the case of his rig, he's ready to go. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to give you this quick overview of what we're doing out here, because I think a lot of people, as they start to hit the road with their RVs, they want to know just a few basic things that they can do to ensure that they're a little bit safer on the road. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up. We'll talk to you again very soon.